What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A rockslide has hit a train in eastern Taiwan, injuring the driver and 7 passengers. The train was passing through a tunnel at around 5 p.m. on Friday when falling rocks and debris smashed into it. The impact derailed one of its carriages, forcing it to stop quickly. The train's driver suffered a broken hand, and more than 500 passengers who were on board were transported to nearby Hualien. Heavy rains in recent days have caused the soil in Taiwan's mountains east to loosen, leading to multiple big landslides. Taiwan says it's seeing a surge in Chinese fighter jets operating in the Taiwan Strait. Jaime Ocon is here in the studio with an update.
Well, Taiwan's defense ministry is reporting 36 Chinese military aircraft operating around Taiwan, but we're going to focus on the 34 that enter the country's ADIZ, or Air Defense Identification Zone. That's this big blue rectangle here that's around Taiwan. Now, the ADIZ is not Taiwan's territory, but the military uses it as a security buffer zone to kind of scramble and protect the country against unidentified aircraft. Now, the military is telling me that 18 aircraft were spotted on the west coast towards China in the middle of the Taiwan Strait, and another 15 were spotted below here down south, in between the waterway of Taiwan and the Philippines, which is further down south. The military is also reporting that 1 Chinese helicopter was spotted on the east coast, east of Taidong City here in Taiwan. And they say that a helicopter in that area usually means that a Chinese warship was operating in the area, as that would be the only way that a helicopter could get so deep into the Pacific. Taiwan's military says that in response to these exercises, they scrambled their own aircraft and naval assets and also deployed coastal defense systems just in case those aircraft get too close to the country's borders. Back to you.
Thanks for the update, Jaime. Meanwhile, Vice President Mi King-hsiao says Taiwan must defend its freedom and democratic way of life from China.
And as long as the PRC does not renounce the use of force against Taiwan, and as long as they continue to exercise coercion, we have no choice but to also step up our defenses.
Speaking virtually to Chatham House, a UK think tank, Xiao said Taiwan has managed to thrive despite China isolating the country diplomatically. She added that Taiwanese people strive to be a force for good in the world and want to contribute to global prosperity. Xiao said that the situations in Hong Kong and Ukraine should remind the world that they can't take peace and democracy for granted. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council is warning people to be careful when traveling in China after 8 retired military and police staff were detained there in the past year.
他们是要掌握当事人在任职期间的工作啦，同事啊，人脉网络，也不排除他们在留置调查的时候趁机拉拢、吸收为中共工作。
The council is responsible for handling relations with China. It says there have been multiple cases of retired military personnel trying to recruit others to work for Beijing in recent years. It's urging former service members to be on guard while in China. Anger is mounting in Taiwan after lawmakers voted not to reconsider controversial amendments that greatly expand the power of the legislature. The ruling party, which opposed the changes, is now weighing up its next steps. Louis Watt reports.
Afraid for their country's democracy, protesters in Taipei rally outside the legislature, angry over a vote expanding lawmakers' powers.
我很担心台湾会变成第2个香港。 对，所以这是这3天我们都会在这里的原因，不单单只是国会扩选这么简单，因为我觉得它就是卖台的起手式，这只是它的第一步而已。
Pushed through by the opposition, the amendments give lawmakers powers to summon people to provide information, including the president, under threat of fines and prison. The discussion has sparked physical fights in the legislature and brought tens of thousands of people out onto the streets in protest. President Lai Ching-te's Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, opposes the reforms, but with a minority in the legislature, it has been powerless to stop them. The DPP says the opposition rushed through the changes without proper debate and asked that there be a review. But in a vote, the legislature refused that request. A popular move with supporters of the opposition, who gathered outside the legislature. They feel the reforms will allow for better government oversight and help combat corruption.
希望国家能够改革，能够在野党监督执政党。
所有的改革方案都是为了对老百姓有帮助的，所以我们会支持。
Political observers say the government is worried that opposition lawmakers led by the Kuomintang or KMT will use these new powers to score political points.
It's become a very partisan issue, but part of it will also be investigating legitimate questions of how the government executed its powers, how it spent taxpayer money, and this kind of attempt to bring some sunshine to the operation of the executive branch, I think that is a very legitimate thing for a legislative branch to seek to do.
Lai, who's just starting a 4-year term, already faces pressing challenges dealing with China, which wants to take control of Taiwan. Now he has to wrestle with internal difficulties too. His party saying the new reforms upset the balance of power between the different branches of government. But the fight isn't over. President Lai's party argues the reforms are unconstitutional. They've said their next step is challenging them in court, showing how it's anything but a smooth ride ahead for President Lai and Taiwan's political system. Patrick Chen and Louise Watt in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. tech giant Nvidia is seeking sources of green energy for its planned supercomputer center in Taiwan. A local company says Nvidia approached it to purchase power from its solar farm, but the company says Taiwan's total renewable energy production is not enough to power the facility. Taiwan is facing questions about its ability to provide stable, sufficient power to support new foreign investment. It aims to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels and reach net zero emissions by 2050. But frequent power outages and slow progress on increasing renewables have cast doubt on those goals. The government has approved the continued use of a coal-fired power plant in Yunling, despite calls from environmentalists to shut it down.
那这个民间电厂跟台电之间是有契约的，就是它有供电数量的契约，依它的契约要求，给它这个延役，让它把这个契约走了。
The Mailiao plant is the biggest privately run coal-fired facility in the country and was supposed to be shut down this year. Taipower says the extension is necessary to ensure Taiwan has enough electricity, and the Yunlin County government has approved it. The generator can now run through the end of next year. Every 2 years, Taiwan holds what it dubs the Asian Nobel Prize, an award for outstanding researchers across the globe. And the winners of this year have just been announced. Yu Chenlai reports.
The results are in for Taiwan's prestigious Tong Prize. Started in 2012 by Taiwanese business tycoon Samuel Yin, it seeks to capture the spirit of the Nobel Prize. Every 2 years, the Tong Prize recognizes exceptional researchers from around the world, those working on issues it says are critical to humanity.
The 4 categories of the Tang Prize, namely sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, sinology, and rule of law, address critical issues for humanity as we confront the challenges of the 21st century.
These challenges involve climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. Notable laureates in the past include famed primatologist Jane Goodall, as well as the scientists who developed the mRNA-based COVID vaccine. But this year, it was the winner of the Sinology Award who drew the most attention. 94-year-old professor of Chinese history Xu Zhuoyun was chosen for his research and role in intellectual exchanges between China and the rest of the world. As a Taiwanese American, Professor Xu is the first laureate from Taiwan in this category.
我盼望这种激励带动许多年轻的中年的学者，说到了94岁还有人能认可你，这个比80种状元还难呢。
An in-person awards ceremony will take place later this September, where award recipients will be flown to Taiwan. Each laureate will also be given a total of more than $1.5 million in cash prizes. The hope is that Tong Prize winners will continue to make big strides in their fields and contribute impactful research. John Su, Wesley Lewis, and Yuchen Lai for TaiwanPlus.
One of the world's top-ranked judokas is determined to bring a gold medal home to Taiwan. Our reporter Xiaoliuqiu met judo sensation Yang Yongwei at a training center before the Summer Games.
尽你的所能，然后去上场，然后不要给自己压力太大，然后不管输赢，就是我很享受在这个过程。
Words of encouragement from Taiwan's top judo athlete to himself. That's the attitude he's taking with him to his second Olympic appearance in Paris later this year. 26-year-old Yang Yongwei is from the indigenous Taiwan community. He's an Olympic silver medalist, an Asian Games champion, and a top-ranked judoka in the world in his weight category. He has shattered numerous records for Taiwan. His silver medal at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 was Taiwan's first ever in the sport. This summer, he's looking to make history once again in Paris as Taiwan's first judo gold medalist.
每一场的训练都是很关键的，因为很有可能这东西是你可能没有去注意到的，很有可能在那比赛场上就会发生。
Yang was born in southern Taiwan. He began practicing judo in 3rd grade with the help of his mother, who also did the sport when she was young. From an early age, he has always dreamed of winning Olympic gold, a goal he nearly realized at the Tokyo Summer Games. He won silver in the men's 60-kilogram category, narrowly losing out to Takato Naohisa of Japan.
其实大家都会觉得好可惜哦，就差那么一点点，甚至是就是明明已经胜券在握，但是就是又错失了这个机会。其实我觉得就是这样，比赛就是这样子，尤其是我们在比赛场上的变化性很大。那大家可能会觉得很可惜，但是我比任何人都还想要赢。
Yang's debut in Tokyo turned him into an internet sensation overnight. Fans poured into his social media pages, mostly from Taiwan and Japan. His loyal internet following has since become a source of strength.
尤其是失败的时候，很挫折的时候，看到这些加油声，真的会觉得还好有这些人在。
At the 2023 Asian Games in China, he bagged his very first gold, which was also Taiwan's 100th gold in the event.
我想，这部分的话，可能是永伟最好的一个最好的武器，就是他的比赛的一个过程的体能跟他的一个适应的能力。
Fueled by his dream and supported by his family and fans, Yang is determined to succeed. For him, failure is part of the process. And rankings mean nothing in the face of stiff competition. It all comes down to one thing: how he's feeling on the day of the competition.
因为在比赛那个张力下，每个人都是个个都有机会，但是没有人就是没有人有把握，所以就是你当下那个状态是很重要的。
The nation will be watching as Yang steps into the ring in Paris, eagerly anticipating Yang making history once again. Justin Wu, Leslie Liao, and Sandy Chi in Kaohsiung for TaiwanPlus.
People on the island of Xiaoliuqiu have got up early for a major temple festival that happens every 3 years. One of the event's highlights is the scramble for candy thrown by temple workers. Tradition has it that the more a person gathers, the better their luck in the coming year. Some have gotten into position early with large buckets and umbrellas, aiming for a big haul. The temple has prepared over 2,000 kilograms of candy for this year's event. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this unusual sport, the Hobby Horse Championships in Finland. I'm Ethan Liu, take care, and I'll see you next time.